What? You thought we were doing Chat Noir? That's cute. You're cute. While Chat Noir and Adrien are the same person according to the canon, Adrien only gets the powers of Chat Noir from Plagg, the Kwame of Destruction. So, for all intents and purposes, Adrien is just a powerless human. But don't worry, we will be getting to Plagg later in this build. Welcome back, dear viewers. I am Adrien, and this is Character Conversion. Today's build is going to be Adrien Agreste from Miraculous, The Tales of Ladybug and Chat Noir. Now, Adrien is one of the more relatable characters from that series, which is why we will be doing him today. I would have put Miraculous holders in with the Power Rangers video, since they are extremely similar in their transformation methods. However, I decided against that, and also to not strike up any unnecessary debates. So, as always, we'll be using the stats by point by system. As you can see, Charisma is going to be our highest stat, and that is because Adrien is a teen model. Your Charisma has to be pretty high in order for you to be a model. The following stats are going to be Intelligence, Wisdom, and Dexterity, or letter 13. Constitution and Strength are going to be our two lowest scores, just because he is a regular human. Speaking of, his race is going to be the human variant, which will give us a +1 in 2 of our stats. I would recommend going Constitution and Charisma. Now, Adrien is known to be a fencer in the show. Not by choice, but he is a fencer. So it would make sense for his feat to be the martial adept, so you can get the maneuvers parry and riposte. For your skill grab performance, again, Adrien is a model, so it would make sense to be on your best behavior and act professional. For languages, you get common and one of your choice. I would just go with Elvish just for simplicity. Now, background is a tricky one. I actually have 2 different options to go over. The first being notable. Adrien is the son of Gabriel Agreste, a famous fashion designer. And both him being a model and the son of a fashion designer qualify him for the noble background. For skills, you get history and persuasion. You get a tool, which will be a game set of your choice. It doesn't really matter what. For languages, I would just recommend grabbing Undercommon. Since you are the son of a fashion designer, it would make sense that you would know certain languages to help you interact with the populace of the area you are in. For your feature, you get Position of Privilege. Now, for your second background, it is because we are doing this for the reason of Adrien being Chat Noir. And that is the faceless background, the background we will always use for when we are dealing with a superhero. This comes from Descent into Avernus, and it's got to be one of my favorite backgrounds, next to the Haunted one. For proficiencies, you get Deception and Intimidation. You also get proficiency in the Disguise kit. Sorry, I got tongue-tied. For languages, you get one of your choice. Again, I would recommend Undercommon for the same reason as we did with the noble background. You get your faceless persona, and as stated in the show, Chat Noir is Adrien's actual personality. You could say it is his real persona. Yes, that was a bad Chat Noir style joke. I apologize. But anyway, since Chat Noir is Adrien's real personality, his faceless persona is going to be a refined noble just to please his father. You also get the feature known as dual personalities, for the same exact reason we just went over. And once again, we are going with the fact that Adrien is a powerless human, so we're going to grab Monk for our first level. You get a 1d8 for your hit die, and I would ask your DM if you can change a short sword weapon proficiency to a rapier, because once again, you are technically Adrien Agreste for this build, and he uses a rapier for his fencing classes. For tools, you get a musical instrument. I would say piano, because Adrien is talented with the piano. For skills, just grab acrobatics and athletics for simplicity. You get unarmored defense and martial arts when you get this class. And now we shall talk about Plagg. We're going with Warlock because once again, Adrien gets his powers from Plagg. It is a relationship. A symbiotic relationship. Now, there's only one patron that actually matches, much to Plagg's disapproval. Because Adrien gets Plagg's powers through the Miraculous, which is his ring, the only the only patron that makes sense is going to be the genie, because you get the feature known as Genie's Vessel, which is where your patron lies. And it just so happens that one of the options is a ring with a compartment. So we are going with that. You get your Pact Magic, which uses your Charisma modifier. Thankfully, we are all models, so it makes sense to have Charisma as our highest stat. Now, with the Genie, you get extra spells depending on what Genie is your patron. The first spell being Detect Evil and Good. The other is dependent on your Genie. Now, of course, there are only 4 Genies in 5th edition, but none of them technically fit Plagg in 5th edition. There is a Genie in 3.5, however, that does fit Plagg and how he operates. The Kayal. Now, the Kayal are genies from the Shadowfell. They don't actually have elemental powers, which is why they loathe the other genies. The Kayal, while they lack in elemental powers, do use shadow magic. And most of you are probably going to ignore my little tangent and trying to find what spells a Kayal would give their Warlock. I'm just going to go ahead and skip over it and just say you all are little psychopathic edgelords and want to make Chat Blanc the worst Akuma by far in the series. So just go ahead and grab Marinette so you can have those ice spells for flavor on your build. Level 2 Warlock, we get some invocations. I would recommend Agonizing Blast and Armor of Shadows, just to get that much closer to Chat Noir. At level 3, you get a Pact boon with your Warlock. I would recommend Pact of the Blade, because when Adrien does don the Chat Noir outfit, he gets his baton/quarterstaff, which is his so-called Pact weapon. At a level 2 Monk, we do get our key, which is probably the only magical thing about the Monk, but that only really improves how you fight. Your key's save DC uses your Wisdom modifier. You also get unarmored movement, which will increase our movement speed. which will definitely be useful both in and out of combat. Level 3 monk gets a, let me make sure I pronounce this right, monastic tradition. I would recommend Kinsei, since it works with your use of weapons. You get the feature Path of the Kinsei. You also get a feature known as Deflect Missiles, which would be extremely useful, just so we don't get hit by Dark Cupid's stupid arrows again. A level 4 monk gets an ability score improvement. I would recommend increasing both dexterity and charisma by 1 each. You also get the ability Slow Fall. And level 4 warlock gets another ability score improvement. I would recommend increasing your dexterity by 2. I don't really see a need for feats with this build, so we're just skipping right over them. A level 5 monk will get extra attack and stunning strike. And level 6 monk, which will be our final level for today, will get the key empowered strikes and an increase to unarmored movement. I hope you enjoyed this build, dear viewers. And until next time, this has been Drehan, and I am offline. And yes, I really do hate Chat Blanc. Personally, I prefer Lupus from the comic Down, made by MiyuKey, and Simulacrum from the comic The Room Where It Happened, made by Naptillmorning. Both characters were written beautifully. They captured the essence of Adrien's problems with his home life, almost to a T. Not to mention that both of these symbolize Adrien's problems. And Lupus just is a whole lot better of a polar opposite Akuma to Chat Noir, especially his power set. While Lupus is technically a controller, it does make sense for him to have these powers since he has so little control as Adrien. And Simulacrum, well, I don't technically know what his powers are since I've only gotten fragments of the comic, it is still a way better concept than Chat Blanc. I highly recommend you go read both of these comics, because they are so elegantly written. It almost makes me cry.